family, how you guys doing? Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. I hope you guys are good. Yeah. If you like my content, please do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, if there's any negativity, if there's any hate, keep that on your side of the street, okay? Won't be acknowledged. So, family, in this video, I'm being guided by Spirit to talk about letting go. Yeah, so we're not going to focus today on letting go with regards to, how they would generally, bring the topic to our awareness or have us engage in the act of letting go and the way the mainstream generally has humans, dealing with or engaging in letting go. Today we're talking about letting go from the perspective of being personally accountable and kind of detaching yourself from using the act of letting go as a way to release yourself from the belief that you're in the position of being a victim, right? We're going to talk today about the act of letting go as something you can use, as a tool that you have, as a capability that you possess, okay? An ability that we all have. Not a single person out there can say that I don't know how to use letting go within myself. There's different layers and realms to it within you, okay? It has nothing at all to do with your outside world. Just like when they say forgiveness, forgiveness is, what do they say? Forgiveness is a ship that you're on by yourself, right? You can't get another person to engage in forgiveness. It's, again, another of those things they've inverted with the programming. It's whatever. Anyway, so when we engage letting go from the perspective, sort of kind of use it in a practical way internally, right? When you're dealing with yourself internally, consciously, and observing yourself, again, not from the perspective of how the outside world is playing out, but observing yourself inside. Where are my thoughts? What am I attached to? Where am I imbalanced? Where am I overloaded? Where am I in anxiety? What am I thinking too much about? What's stressing me out? What's weighing me down? What's plaguing my mind? What's clogging up my energy? What's causing blockages? What do I feel in my environment or in my mind? What feels like it's not moving? Where do I feel I don't have solutions? What's always triggering me? How, what is the experience you have, and how do you observe yourself when you decide to question, if at all, you question those aspects of yourself or those things that are existing within your internal world? When last have you sat down to actually, investigate and pay attention to these things and, embark on a bit of an exercise to sort of sort it all out, put things within you in their rightful place. Let go and release the things that maybe you're fretting over, that you're overly focused on, that you can't do anything about. Spirit wants us to be more conscious about cleansing and clearing our vessel consciously, taking accountability for that, and not always look for something or someone on the outside to blame for the internal state that we find ourselves in, the internal state that we allow ourselves to get stuck in. Investigate your act of attachment. Investigate what you've been programmed into to get angry over, to feel hurt over. What distorted idea of love and relationship dynamics and all these things that they've programmed into you to busy your mind over, money, success, all of these things, how have they been programmed into you and how are they plaguing you? How is your programming and your attachments to all these things and aspects of, whatever I've just mentioned, muddying up your energy, clogging up your energy, creating blockages, creating stagnation, hindering you from having a clear view, hindering you from being able to see ahead. Where are you too focused on the past and things that you can't do anything about and can't change? Where are you too worried about the next person's emotions? Where are you too caught up in how the next person or the outside world is viewing you? Who do you have in your energy? Whose conscience, whose energy, whose consciousness is plaguing your space and actually interfering with your ability to make decisions? Being indecisive, having a foggy mind, all of these things are not just things that are there, headaches, all these things, they're not just things that are just there. It's because there's something within you and something as well existing in your energy that you're either too attached to, not willing to see, afraid to let go of. What are you fearful of? Where have you got issues with abandonment? Where are those fears also layered unconsciously, bothering you? Where is your fear of abandonment? Keeping you attached to people that are not good for you, keeping you attached to people who use you, keeping you attached to people who drain you, keeping you attached to people whose energy and consciousness is aligned with an old version of you, but is still here in your space, clogging up your mind, clogging up your vision, conflicting you, because that energy is pulling on you to be an older version of you, align with an older version of yourself, appease people who align to an older version of you. Yet where your soul is and where you are is trying to move forward into another place. So you've got yourself conflicted. All of this is in your energy. All of this creates stagnation. It creates confusion. It creates frustration. It creates stress because you're imbalanced and you're misaligned. We all have a lot of work to always do within ourselves. And we have to be accountable and conscious of what it is and who it is that we're keeping in our energy. And where also our programming and our expectations, our attachments and our ideas that we have around people and relationship dynamics and social constructs of relationships and community and friendship and all these things hinder us from moving forward. Where can you use the act of letting go to your benefit? You'll find the universe and spirit are holding back a solution, holding back an idea for you, holding back a new pathway, because you're attached and you're stuck in things and energy that, don't align with anything that the universe or that the divine is trying to bring in for you, for your highest good. Where are you programmed into having to put yourself behind others and not put yourself first in order to be able to grab these things that are there for you to engage in, to notice, to download, to connect with, You have to be able to choose yourself first. You have to be able to, recognize where certain things that you have within your energy, within your mind, relationships that you've got are just not working for you. Try to also, the way you perceive it all, try and step out of the mainstream way of seeing it, the mainstream way of understanding things. And the more you decide to let go, the more you allow yourself to let go, the more you have the courage to internally let go. Cleanse yourself. Be real about your confusion. Be real with yourself about what's foggy. Be real about your indecisiveness. Be real with yourself about your fear. Be real with yourself about your relationships and your beliefs around relationships, even traditional things or traditions and all kinds of things that we find ourselves wrapped up in and attached to. All of these things hinder us from moving forward. And sometimes we just need to drop it. Release an energy. Release a belief. Release a person. Release an emotion that you've been programmed to always just get attached to and hold on to, and all of these things that can cause stagnation and block the flow of energy moving with in and out. Block your ability to be open to receive so that you can actually find your path and move forward. A thought, even a habit, sometimes the universe and the divine will withhold from you because you're wrapped up in a habit. You're wrapped up in like I've said in another video of mine, being frivolous with your energy. How can they give you something when you're not even valuing and conserving your energy? Maybe what you want to move into, what they want to gift you or bless you with, requires the energy that you're giving out somewhere else, that you're dedicating to indecisiveness and confusion, that you're dedicating to people pleasing. Where is your ego getting in the way? Where are you being resistant to? Maybe resistant isn't the right word to use, but where is your ego and your sense of importance blocking you off from simple solutions, blocking you off from people who might be open and available and a solution to you moving forward, moving into a new direction, but because your ego thinks you're too good for the person, your ego, your ideas and your need for status, your need for for acceptance, whatever these things, create a boundary for something else to come into your life. Where can you let go of your ego? Where can you let go a belief? Where can you? There's a lot of things. Okay, there's a lot of things. Where are you stuck in a cycle? These are all the things that we need to understand are a part of our inner world and are not going to be sorted out as long as you're still wrapped up and distracted with the outside world. You're not going to be able to internally construct, plans and an idea and pull in what the ethers and what the divine has for you if you don't have space for it. If your energy is just, not available. And that's only something you can do. Instead, you get focused on the pain. You get focused on the experience of anxiety and all of those things, right? when really you just need to unclog. You need to sweep out. You need to be okay to let go. You need to be okay to release, right? And as you clear your energy and as you clear your mind and as you start letting things and people go and putting up your boundaries, right? And this is, again, internally. You do it first internally, you work it out internally. Recognize your act and your process of letting go internally. Then you end up putting the boundary on the outside so that you can protect that, call your energy back and protect it. Yes, it's going to agitate people because people who are used to having your energy as an energy source or as a supply, it triggers them, it makes them angry, they become reactive, and it's something you learn to just breathe and ground yourself and allow their emotion, allow their episode that is, that is in the external, allow it to pass. Learn to stay grounded and not allow the theatrics and the reaction of an action you've taken for yourself. Allow it to play out. Be strong and stand in your resolve and build your energy. And as you clear yourself and as you start, protecting your energy and calling your energy back in, and you start, cultivating and building the energy within your energy field of letting go, and building the energy within your energy field of consistency and commitment to self, because those are energies that it's an energy field that we also need to cultivate and build, right? In order to let the universe know, okay, I'm free, I am ready, and I've positioned myself accordingly to receive, to understand, to not have, something that's been pulling on my energy, to not have an old idea, to not have an old programming, to not have whatever it is that could have been, detrimental to whatever it is that I need to move into. Be a problem, be a hindrance, an old cycle, like I said as well. Excuse me, I've got energy moving again. And so, as this happens, then we also elevate. We are open and we're able to also perceive more in a single moment in time. The system has been extremely strategic in causing our minds to just, work in a linear fashion, to be able to only digest and process and focus on one thing at a time, and understand one thing at a time, and only, zone in on the details so that we're not actually, paying attention to and able to perceive the bigger picture of things. They never want you to see the bigger picture of anything that they're doing or of your own life. Because the moment you're privy to the bigger picture, your options and your choices and the pathways that you have for yourself suddenly expand, they increase, right? And this isn't what they want, no. So see the act of see your ability to let go as something that is an extremely positive thing and that you should utilize regularly. Be creative with it. Ask the divine to step in and help you. And as you're letting go, also pay attention to where you have fear of letting go. That's a point for you to investigate. That's a point for you to ground. That's a point for you to ask yourself, oh, why am I afraid? What have I become attached to? Right? So Don't be afraid to let go, family. Okay, I think I've said all that I've wanted to say. Yeah, I know it's a process, and we're all always a work in progress, right? So this is what they mean when they say, are you for the world, or are you for, or are you against the world? Being a, you can't choose yourself and the world at the same time. You're either going to, manifest and create your external experience from what you have building and going on, and whatever you're creating on the inside of you, or you're going to be, a slave to the outside world and have the outside decide and dictate where your life goes and what's going to happen. Or you can have, the higher realm and your higher consciousness and your awareness be what, is the guiding thing that manifests your outside world. Again, I'll just say it one last time. Do not let instant gratification hinder you, because impatience and not willing to understand and put yourself, settle in a process that you might be going through, the act of letting go and, decluttering and cleansing your energy and your mind and moving out of places that have you indecisive and murky. It's all a process, okay? It's nothing that falls into the realm of immediate and instant gratification, because you make the decision and then you need to commit to it and you build the energy. But I have other videos in the past that have spoken about all of that, so I'm not gonna, get into it. Anyway, family, let me pull a card from today. I'm pulling from the Flower Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. Okay, and yeah, let's see what Spirit has to support our conversation, or guide whoever's watching our video, or give a nudge to whoever's watching our video in a specific direction. Okay, let's see. May I please have one card, Spirit? Oh, Spirit, one card, please. Okay. May I please have one card? Raise your vibration. As you let go, you become lighter. As you cleanse your body and you cleanse your mind. Okay, there's also food. I'll get into that with another video. But as you cleanse your body and as you cleanse your mind, you become lighter, and you raise your vibration. Your consciousness moves up into a higher state, right? And like I've said before, then you're able to pull in the information that you need in order to take your guided steps forward that are not aligned to what the outside and the system wants you to participate in. They strategically make sure that your programming and whatever it is they have you focused on keeps you unfocused, keeps you, wrapped up in things, and your mind and your energy filled with people and things that make you surrender to the outside world guiding your way and your steps, and not trusting yourself, not trusting the higher vibrational guidance. Okay, so the flower is called the plumeria. Can you see that? The plumeria. And the card says your intuitive feelings are accurate messages from the angels. Okay, so listen to yourself, trust yourself, and let go. If you feel like, oh, maybe I should let this go, trust yourself and let the fucking thing go. Okay, declutter inside yourself and declutter outside. Let go. See what the book has to say. raise your vibration. There we go. So it says, you've sought to communicate with your loving angels, and this card is proof that you've already begun to meet them. This is your answer. You're surrounded by angels. By meditating on the image of a frangipani, which is also known as a plumeria, a flower. Okay. You can raise your vibration, which makes communication with angels incredibly easy. Your guidance from the higher realms, right? Pay close attention to any thoughts, feelings, sounds, or visions that you receive, as these are very real signs from the angels. If you have trouble interpreting the signals you receive, simply ask for greater clarity. These heavenly beings want to interact with you in an effective and comforting way. So they're happy to take direction to ensure you're getting their messages loud and clear. Additional meanings to this card. Keep up the good work. If you've been cleaning up inside and you've been working on yourselves, guys, I know it's not easy. I know it requires a lot. I know it takes energy, and I know it requires strength to also, release people and, maintain them staying out of your energy, especially when, they want your energy supply and they push against your boundaries. They disrespect your boundaries. They don't understand why you don't want them in your energy anymore. For the person on the outside, you choosing yourself is never a good enough reason to them. Okay, so eventually they go away. I know it sounds horrible to say it that way, but it's the truth. Lower vibrational people, once you start, raising your vibration, they become like flies. That's how they start feeling. They feel like flies. And I know that again sounds horrible, but it's the truth. Because you start awakening to how attached and needy they become on you and your energy, and it starts becoming an irritation because you're trying to clear your space and your mind space, and you have an energy that keeps trying to push against your boundary. So yes, okay, if you are in that process, I'm proud of you. I understand from my own experience, it is not easy, especially if it's family, especially if it's best friends, especially if it's, old boyfriends and girlfriends who require your energy to help themselves stay up and afloat and, feel energized. Some people are just, your intuition is becoming more accurate. Enjoy regular meditation. Work with the healing energies of crystals. That was a nice card, right? Anyway, family, it's gone on a while. I'll see you in the next video, okay? If it's resonated, please do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.